WADR, promoting dialogue.
It's made there in Dakar, 1 o'clock in Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and around the world on wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. The state of Senegal arrests leader of the Guion Sabop movement for public insults and defamation. A tragic boat accident claims 25 lives in Nigeria's north-central state of Niger. Participants at WADR Net event in Accra, Ghana call for inclusivity of the youth and persons with disabilities in decision-making.
To become a region that commands respect, remains relevant, and embody resilience amid the growing adversities with the narratives by the media.
And Niger's government launches the construction of a modern city to host 1,000 houses. Please stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
Here is Augustine Colley with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining us and welcome to our listeners in the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. We begin here in Senegal, where the leader of the Guion Sabop movement, Bougane Gueye Dany, was taken into custody on Wednesday by the police cybercrime division. He is accused of public insults and defamation following statements made during his recent media appearances. Before him, it was journalist Sheikh Yerim Seck who was questioned and taken into custody. These widespread arrests of political figures and media personnel have prompted reactions from Senegalese civil society organizations. Echiatisu completes the story.
After his hearing at the Cybercrime Division, Bougane Gueye Dany was taken into custody. According to his lawyers, he is accused of public insults and defamation after disputing the figures presented by Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko regarding Senegal's public debts during a recent media appearance. Before Bougane Gueye Dany, it was journalist Sheikh Yerim Seck who faced arrests. The Senegalese judiciary accused the journalist of defamation and spreading false news. During a television show, the former Jeune Afrique journalist claimed that the figures released by the Senegalese government were false. The same scenario applies to private television commentator Keita Dia, who has been in custody since Monday. In his case, he stated during a show that police officers had accepted bribes to allow the passage of a boat in which more than 30 lifeless bodies were found 2 weeks ago. These widespread arrests just weeks before the legislative elections have caught the attention of Senegalese civil society. El Hadj Amadou Sam is one of such actors.
Every time elections approach, we often hear these kinds of things. A regime that has just been installed is one that has experienced violence of all kinds. I think it really needs to learn from this and avoid making the same mistakes. In a democratic country, it is incomprehensible to take journalists and bring them to justice or the police just because there are legislative elections. I believe there are many things that need to be reconsidered.
In a statement published Wednesday, the Coordination of Press Associations expressed regret over the arrest of journalist Sheikh Yerim Seck and demanded his release. The CAP further denounces attacks on press freedom and freedom of expression.
Eche Atisu with that report. The Gambia has the highest rejection rate for United States visas in West Africa, according to the U.S. Department of State. The smallest country in mainland Africa is a little behind Mali, which has the highest rejection rate on the continent. Experts over the years have attributed a high rate of irregular migration in the Gambia to the high rate of visa rejections. Sankule Janko has more in this report.
In Africa, Mali has the highest rejection rate at a staggering 60.16% according to media reports. Following closely is the Gambia with a rejection rate of 60.40 despite low population of about 2.4 million compared to bigger countries. Chenaba Job is one of the many Gambians who have been rejected by the U.S. Embassy in Banjul over the years as he attempted to go to the U.S. to pursue higher education.
I was so sad, devastating, hopeless. I just feel like I wanted to give up on my dreams because my dreams are always to be in the U.S. and study, but unfortunately, they have to reject me and my entire family.
Mustafa Sanko, a migration expert who is currently doing his thesis on migration, explains some of the factors leading to the Gambia having such a high number of rejections.
If you could see the trend, you will realize that many Gambians are actually traveling to the United States of America. That means many of them are actually applying, so the rejections will be many. And then you will also realize that Gambians will apply in the Gambia. If they are rejected, they will move to Senegal, they will move to Guinea-Conakry, others will even go to Sierra Leone.
The migration expert further stated these visa rejections led some Gambians to embark on other means with a view to travel abroad.
What this could actually result to is actually making people to explore other alternatives, and these alternatives are the irregular route. And then it is not surprising that you could see a lot of Gambians who are actually venturing into irregular migration to America. In those days, it used to be Europe, but now the trend is in the US, where they go through Mexico or Nicaragua.
As of 2022, about 8,000 Gambians live in all of the United States, according to the U.S. Embassy data. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I'm Sankula Janku reporting from Banjul.
Over to the Sahel region, particularly in Niger, where the authorities on Wednesday launched construction work on a modern city called the City of Refundation. A total of 1,000 social housing units are expected to be constructed in this city. Nadia Tete completes the story.
The construction work is expected to be carried out by the Banga Immobilia Group, a Malian company specializing in the field, all under the supervision of the Nigerian Company for Urban Planning and Real Estate Development, SONUSI. According to Colonel Gaba Hakim, Minister of Public Health, the City of the Refoundation, located not far from the city of Niamey, will be completed in a year. Speaking about the work at hand, Hadi Gangadu, CEO of the Banga Immobilia Group, constructors of the project, said they are committed to carrying out the work as agreed with the Nigerian authorities. The construction of these 1,000 housing units is part of the promises made to the people of the CNSP upon their arrival in power. It is an initiative included in the resilience program for the safeguarding of the homeland, adopted for the period 2024 to 2026 for the urban development and housing sector.
Nadia Tete reporting there. Still in Niger, the judicial police have successfully dismantled 5 separate criminal gangs involved in theft, fraud, and trafficking in counterfeit banknotes. The arrests, which include individuals aged between 18 to 55, also involved foreign nationals. Though in coordinated searches, law enforcement seized a range of equipment used for the production of counterfeit currency, including detection devices, electricity testers, actual banknotes, and various manufacturing tools. This significant achievement is largely attributed to the effective collaboration between law enforcement and the local community.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Let's take you to Ghana, where the youth and persons with disabilities have called for an integral inclusion of their contributions to various electoral processes in the country's democratic discourse. Speakers who represented the youth, women, and disabled community at WADR's Democracy and Governance Forum in Accra, Ghana, in partnership with NED, stressed on the points that the marginalized in society need a secure environment to inspire confidence and ensure their participation in the inclusive process. The forum, themed Strengthening Democratic Processes, Ghana's Preparedness for a Free, Fair and Transparent Elections, saw representatives from the Ghana Police Service, the Electoral Commission, civil society groups, and other key stakeholders in Ghana's electoral processes committing to ensuring peaceful, free and transparent elections. From Accra, Christopher Atisho reports.
The forum, which brought together key stakeholders from civil society organizations, youth groups, the Electoral Commission of Ghana, the security services, and stakeholders in academia, was themed Strengthening Democratic Processes, Ghana's Preparedness for a Free, Fair and Transparent Elections. Presenting the opening remarks, the station manager of WADR, Agnes John Thomasi, said such a forum is critical as it charges all ECOWAS member states to uphold democracy and its principles.
To become a region that commands respect, remains relevant, and embody resilience amid the growing adversities with the narratives by the media.
With over 2.3 million population of Ghanaians living with disabilities, the executive director of the Ghana Blind Union, Dr. Peter Obena Samoa, called for sustainable recognition and partnership with the media to enhance their inclusivity.
Democracy has certain costs, and these costs also include the needs of persons with disability. And if we're not doing that, then unfortunately and sadly, we are not being democratic.
As the election in Ghana fast approaches, a board member of WADR, Professor Audrey Kajekbo, urged the media to be mindful of the role of social media in undermining democracy through various means of misinformation and disinformation.
That kind of information oppresses voter turnout, can lead to violence and polarization, thereby undermining our quest to be the beacon of democracy that we like to think of ourselves as.
A deputy electoral commissioner, Dr. Bosman Asari, on his part, assured that they are determined to ensuring that Ghana will once again have another successful, peaceful, fair and transparent elections. He indicated that the EC has so far registered almost 19 million Ghanaian voters for the December polls.
That was Christopher Aticho reporting. Meanwhile, Bright Kweku Bobby, director at the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group and one of the organizers of the 3-day protest for the release of some protesters arrested and detained in prison for 2 weeks, says they will not back down until those arrested are released. The young men and women were arrested on September 22 while demonstrating against the devastating effects of rampant small-scale illegal mining that has damaged many water bodies and destroyed the country's forests. Speaking to WADR, Bright Kweku Bobby called on the government to declare a state of emergency over the menace of illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey.
The chairman of the Health Committee of Parliament, who is also a campaign manager for the ruling government, and is also a medical doctor, stood on stage and then told Ghanaians in their faces that they are not going to stop Galamsey today or illegal mining today. They are not going to stop tomorrow, because if it's going to affect their political fortunes, they are going to lose a lot of parliamentary seats. They are going to lose a lot of votes in the mining areas. So they are not going to put an end to the Galamsey. They are not going to stop it. This illegal mining is killing us. So we will not sit down and die. If you all die, who is going to vote for them? Fortunately for us, the Trade Union Congress, Organized Labour, all of them have also declared their support for us. We have made demands to government. Our demands are that, first of all, government should declare a state of emergency in all mining areas, all areas where illegal mining is happening, on our water bodies, in our forests, in our farmlands, cocoa farms, and then revoke the airline 242 that has allowed Galamsey illegal mining in forest areas and water bodies to go on. So if all these conditions are not met, we are going to continue our strike together with Organized Labour.
Bright Kweku Bobby is the director at the Ghana Environmental Advocacy Group. Elsewhere in Nigeria, at least 25 people have died in a devastating boat accident in Niger State, North Central region, authorities have confirmed. The vessel carrying over 200 passengers to Omalid celebration capsized on October 1 in the Bajibo community in the Mukwa local government area of the state. Usma Umar reports.
The Niger State Emergency Management Agency, NSEMA, in a statement on Wednesday said it has recovered 25 bodies so far, comprising 4 females and 21 males. The search continues for 125 missing passengers, with rescue efforts led by NSEMA and supported by the State Ministry of Transport, local authorities, divers and community volunteers. This latest incident adds to Nigeria's grim record of boat accidents, highlighting concerns over water transportation safety. Nigeria has witnessed several similar tragedies in recent years, resulting in significant loss of lives and sparking calls for improved safety measures and regulations on the water transportation sector. NSEMA Director General Abdullahi Baba-Ara assured that rescue efforts will continue until all missing passengers are accounted for. The state government has also declared a period of mourning for the victims. As the search operation continues, concerns linger about the causes of the accident and the preparedness of emergency services as a whole in the country. An investigation is also expected to shed light on the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, Usman Umar reporting from Abuja.
You are listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of the top stories. The state of Senegal arrests a leader of the Guion Sabop movement for public insults and defamation. A tragic boat accident claims 25 lives in Nigeria's north-central state of Niger. Participants at Wadr Net event in Accra, Ghana call for inclusivity of the youth and persons with disabilities in decision-making. Niger's government launches the construction of a modern city to host 1,000 housing units. Still ahead, we have the press review, guest interview, and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Thanks for staying with us. As a reminder, we're streaming live on YouTube at WADR and on Facebook, WADR English Service. We move to Cote d'Ivoire now because authorities have temporarily suspended all union and student activities nationwide. This measure was taken after a student was found dead in Abidjan on unsuspicious circumstances. Oge Obierika provides details in this report by Abidjan correspondent Albin Ade.
According to a statement from the public prosecutor, Agrimas Obin, also known as General Sosie, was found dead by the criminal police on Sunday night. The lifeless body of the Masters in English student, who was also a member of the Student and School Federation of Cote d'Ivoire, FESI, showed signs of physical violence. Following the emergence of the case, the criminal police have opened an investigation. 6 people have so far been arrested, including the Secretary General of FESI, Kambo Sier. The Abidjan Gendarmerie's research section initially apprehended a person claiming to be an intelligence agent, allegedly colluding with the Secretary General of the student organization, FESI. Kambo Sier was described as a rival of General Sosie and faced internal opposition after his election as head of the student organization in December 2023. The 2 students who were in conflict on several campuses in Cote d'Ivoire recently met in Abidjan. Subsequently, Agrimas Obin was abducted by unknown individuals in a taxi but was later found dead. The public prosecutor has assured that the full truth will be revealed in this case and that the perpetrators and accomplices will be sought, apprehended, and brought before the court. For now, police presence has been reinforced around Felix Houphouët-Boigny University, and union and student association activities are suspended nationwide.
Oge Obierika voiced that report sent in by Abidjan correspondent Albin Ade. In Liberia, the Independent Information Commission, in collaboration with the Center for Media Studies and Peace Building, observed the International Day of Universal Access to Information with emphasis on the Freedom of Information Act. Here is Grace Joshua in Monrovia with the rest of the report.
The activities begin with creating awareness among citizens across Monrovia, informing them that access to information is a basic human right. Speaking at the event, the Independent Information Commissioner Toga Joa Hodges highlighted serious challenges faced by the Commission, including limited budget allocations and inadequate office space, among others. He also expressed gratitude for the support from the government and stakeholders in improving and decentralizing access to information across the country.
The Freedom of Information Law of Liberia obligates government, ministries, agencies, private entities receiving public resources or performing public function to uphold their duties of accountability and stewardship.
The country's senior advisor of the Liberia USAID Media Activity Project at Internews, Jefferson Togamasa, expressed contentment in supporting the Independent Information Commission over the years. He emphasized the importance of the Commission role in upholding the freedom of information law and creating citizens' access to public information. The theme of the celebration is mainstream access to information participation in the public sectors and was attended by government officials, civil society members, and the media. Reporting for West Africa Democracy Radio, I'm Grace Joshua from Monrovia.
This is the Newspaper Review. Stay abreast and find out what the top stories are in your country.
This is the Newspaper Review.
The Newspaper Review.
Let's now join Nadia Titi in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, for the press review.
Welcome to the newspaper review segment. We'll start off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page, expedite hearing on Galamsey cases, Attorney General to judges. Other stories here, tertiary programs at unaccredited centers to be revoked. That's according to the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Also here, measles and rubella vaccination underway. Targets 5 million under 5-year-olds. To the Ghanaian Times newspaper now, the front page, efforts to prevent electoral violence. 36 hotspots identified nationwide. National Peace Council intensifies public awareness campaign in affected areas. Also here, vote for my vice to continue my transformational agenda. President Akufo-Addo tells voters in the Upper East region. Other stories still on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Expedite investigations into 54 Democracy Hub protesters. That is attributed to the Attorney General. To the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Ghana risks losing EU timber market. That's according to Forest Watch. And speed up works on inner city roads. Minister charges contractors. And that'll be it for the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Now to the Crusading Guide. Front page, Galamsey protesters exceeded free expression limits. That's attributed to the Attorney General again. Also here, no basis for fears over electoral register as NDC fails to present evidence. Final story here, Kolebu CEO gets massive support from Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Also here, Information Minister reaffirms commitment to expanding access to information. We'll end with the Insight newspaper. Front page, Free the Citizens protest. Ghanaians rise again today against Galamsey and government repression. Also on the front page of the Insight newspaper, Asantehene pledges an ending support for Alan Trematin, and Association of Ghana Industries and Food and Beverages Association lament rise in electricity and water tariffs. And that's it for what the papers are reporting today. It's back to you.
Thank you, Nadia Titi, for the press review.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
The guest segment this afternoon is about the leader of the Guillaume Sabop movement, Bugan Gay Danning, who was taken into custody on Wednesday by the Cyber Crime Division. He is accused of public insults and defamation following statements made during his recent media appearances. These widespread arrests of political figures and media personnel have prompted reactions from Senegalese civil society organizations. Our guest is Elhaj Amadou Sam, the country lead for the civil society group Budget Senegal. He speaks about the situation.
We can only have two thoughts about that. The first one is that we are preparing for election, and the political context is very tense, so such extent that we are noticing some action like this. So first of all, we are really denouncing the journalists that are, harmed. We are always also denouncing the people that we are calling in such a regulate way. I think this new government should learn from what they have experienced, because they have been victims of kind of persecution. I think that Bugan Gay, as a president of movement, has all the rights. Now he's just called by the police. We are following that.
There are a series of allegations being raised against Bugan Gay, and that also include his recent appearances on the radio and also speaking about Senegal's public death ratio, which the Prime Minister recently attributed high public debt to the previous administration of Macky Sall. What's your reaction towards this, sir?
We believe that everybody has a right to give his thought in terms of the public space. When it is about public space, everybody has a right to say what he thinks. But we have to understand that when we are speaking to an authorities, there is a way to speak to authorities. We think that there is a way to say what you think without harming or without insulting anybody, particularly an authority. Now, we think also that a democratic space can only be possible when we let the people tell what they have in their mind. And having this kind of persecution, involvement of the police and other bodies to call the people automatically, I think this is not something democratic. And about the press media, I think we have to give people more rights and more freedom of speech, but not going over the regulation and the norms.
Now, sir, what message do these early arrests and detention by the Jomai Faye's government send to the public?
Oh, I think the first message is that they haven't learned from what they experienced. Because despite the fact that there are many cases that are different, there are cases that are politic, others that are not, but this Senegalese people that is not maybe informed about all those technical aspects will only see that we are calling people at the police in a regular way. And I think it is not something that we will need in the time where we are talking about public finance problems, in the time we are talking about people that are living hard situation. I think that they have many priorities to take into account.
Alhaj Amadou Sam is the country lead for the civil society group Budget Senegal. Here is Sankole Janko with the latest in the sporting world.
Hello there, warm welcome and thank you for joining us. Senegal national football head coach Aliou Cissé has been relieved of his position after nearly a decade in the job. This comes after the government refused to renew his contract, which expired in August 2024. Cissé, who also served as captain of the Teranga Lions during his playing days, led Senegal to their first Africa Cup of Nations title after winning the 2021 AFCON in February 2022 in Cameroon. Despite his contract ending in August, Cissé remained in charge during Senegal's two 2025 qualifiers against Burkina Faso and Burundi. It is reported that the Senegalese Football Federation, FSF, wanted Cissé's deal to be extended, but the Sports Ministry under Bassirou Diomaye Faye's new government has made the decision to end his long tenure for various reasons. The FSF would like to thank Aliou Cissé for his good collaboration and his brilliant results as the head of various national selections and wishes him every success for the future, a statement from the Federation reads. The Football Federation further stated that Sports Minister Khadija Ndiaye did not approve the extension of Cissé's contract. It said the reasons behind the decision were the failure to achieve the objectives assigned in November 2022, namely reaching the quarterfinals of the 2022 World Cup and winning the 2023 AFCON title, the regression in the world rankings, and the risk of dissatisfaction between our national team and the Senegalese in general, the statement reads. Cissé, who has an impressive 70 victories, 24 draws and 13 defeats as the head coach of Senegal in a 9.5-year stint, had already called for a press conference to announce his squad on Friday for the next AFCON qualifier. But unfortunately, he will not be there as he ceased to be the head coach of the Teranga Lions. What a surprising decision for football lovers. That's it for sports. It's back to you.
We've come to the end of this edition of Newslink on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Mawuda Diouf for the technical support. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram at WADR News, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. I am Augustine Cully. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via